Hi, K-Town Yogis. It's nice to be experiencing this type of a class with you. I appreciate your willingness to try it out as it's something really new for me. So, um, in lieu of me being gone, I felt like this was a good opportunity to experience this end of teaching yoga. And as always, I'm open to any comments or feedback. Of course, I'm just doing this on my phone, so it's not as professional as obviously it could be. But if that is in my journey going forward, then maybe maybe I'll be doing more of these. So we are going to be practicing today because I have been feeling a large call to return or connect, especially right now with Mother Earth, reading about Hawaii's devastating fire and seeing the flooding happening in Juneau because of the glacier melting. Our earth is really, really hot. And as we prepare to travel, my family and I, we are looking at being in temperatures of 104, 108, and that is really hot. It's really hot. So I wanted to create a practice that was in honor of the earth, to reconnect to the earth, and to aid in the cooling of the one planet we have. So we'll see how this goes. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. We'll be here for just a second as we transition. If there's something in your space that you could do that would make it just a little bit more comfortable, if maybe lighting a candle or burning some incense, just if that's available to you, it can just help us in the transition to this next bit of time together, to mark it as something different than what you were doing before and what you'll be doing for the rest of the day. So you can pause and do that, or if there's nothing that's available, that's okay too. This space is a makeshift studio up in the classroom above our garage. So there may be dog noises, there may be children. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So, all right, in that comfortable seat, I invite you to place your hands wherever it feels comfortable. If it feels safe to do so, I invite you to soften your eyes or close them. And we'll locate those sits bones, plug those right into the earth. Align our hips up over those sits bones. Allow our belly button to pull in just slightly toward our spine, finding a slight engagement. Aligning our shoulders over our hips. And bringing our chin back in space just a smidge to create a nice long line of energy from our tailbone all the way up through our crown. And as we sit here and we begin to notice our breath together, allow whatever has come before you in this day to just take a back seat. Allow whatever you have to do in the rest of your day to pause and wait. You will get to it, I promise. And just allow yourself this time to focus on just you, to move our bodies and to breathe. Noticing where we're feeling our breath. Is it feeling shallow today, or is it feeling deep? Watching that inhale of oxygen through the nose, down the throat, into our lungs. And watching as it leaves back out our nose. Just following that path of the inhale and the exhale for a couple rounds of breath. And now on our next inhale, draw a deeper breath into your system, all the way down into your belly, allowing your belly button to rise toward the front of the room. And with your exhale, watch it gently pull back in toward your spine. Breathing down deep, low into your belly for a couple of rounds of breath. And now on your next inhale, continue to fill up your belly, but then watch as your torso begins to expand out of the ribs and up into the collarbone as you sip in more and more oxygen, filling your whole system with breath. And when you've reached the top, hold your breath. Pause and maybe sip in one more little bit of oxygen. Hold for as long as you can. And when you're ready, exhale it out the mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling deep into your belly, expanding the ribs, collarbones lift, hold at the top, sip in a little more oxygen, hold, hold, hold until you can't hold any longer, and then sigh it out the mouth. And one more time, big inhale in. Ribs expand, collarbones lift, hold the breath at the top, sip in a little bit more, hold, and sigh it out the mouth when you're ready. Allow your breath to return to a nice, easy rhythm. And bring some attention to where your body is meeting the floor underneath you. This practice is going to re-engage us or engage us with the earth, hopefully on a deeper level. So everywhere you're touching the earth, maybe it's in your feet or your sits bones or your legs, maybe you're laying on your back and the back of your head is touching the ground, or you're up or mid-low back. Wherever that is, just bring some awareness to that space. On your next inhale, feel your body pushing down against the surface below you. And as you push down into this space, your whole spine, if you're sitting, will lift toward the sky. And with your exhale, everything will relax and soften. With each inhale, feel yourself rooting down into the earth and rising up toward the sky. And with your exhale, it's a surrender down, a softening. One more big inhale, rooting down and rising up. And exhaling, letting it all go and relaxing. We're going to blink our eyes open as we move into our tabletop position for a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So we're going to shift forward onto our hands and our knees, bringing our shoulders over those wrists and our hips over our knees. We're going to have those toes tucked. Find a slight engagement in that belly so we have a nice neutral back. As our gaze is right below our fingers and the crown of our head is pulling toward the front of the room. We'll move through a cat-cow here. So with our inhale, our belly will lower toward the floor, still engaged, not dropping it. Our hips are going to rise and our chest is going to pull through as our gaze comes forward, being really aware not to over-rotate that neck. And as we exhale, we'll push the floor away, rounding our spine, tucking our tail and tucking our chin. Our crown of the head is magnetized toward the earth. Inhale will pull you back into your cow. And your exhale, you'll find your cat with that Halloween back. You can untuck your toes here if you wish. See how that feels. And then move through a few rounds on your own. Inhaling, finding your cow. And exhaling, finding your cat. Maybe closing your eyes. Finding some intuitive movement here. Circling out the hips, bringing one shoulder to one hip, and then moving back the other way, or maybe just a traditional cat-cow feels good. Sometimes coming up over our hands can feel nice, and pushing back toward more of a child's pose. Just tap into what your body is asking for right now. And then we're all going to meet back at a neutral back. So we'll be moving through a little flow of a child's pose to cobra. So let's first inhale and bring our hands forward just a smidge to the front of the mat. And we'll bring our hips back toward our heels, keeping our knees about hip width apart. So this is going to be our child's posture. And as we inhale, we're going to shift forwards onto our knees and our hands. And exhale, bringing those elbows next to our ribs as our whole body meets the mat. Our knees are lifted, our legs are engaged, and our hands are underneath our shoulders as we inhale into a baby cobra. Our exhale is going to push us back down toward the earth. And we'll inhale, pushing on hands and knees all the way back to child's pose. We'll inhale up, knees and hands. Exhale to lower, elbows graze the ribs. Inhale, engage those legs, finding baby cobra. Exhale, lowering back down. And inhale, pushing off our hands and our knees to find that child's pose again. Go ahead and move through a couple rounds on your own here. Inhale to pull you forward into this knee plank variation. Exhale to lower. Inhale to your baby cobra. Exhale to lower. Inhale, pushing back into child's pose. We'll do one more round of that. And when you find yourself in child's pose, go ahead and bring your knees as wide as the mat and your toes to touch. You can keep your hands out in front of you if that feels good on your shoulders, or you can wrap them around to the backs of your heels, alongside your heels, with your arms resting on your knees. Whatever feels supportive and nourishing. And here in this child's pose, we can turn on that ujjayi breathing, the breath that comes from the nose and into the nose with a slight constriction in the back of our throat. And again here, let's bring awareness to where we're touching the earth, where we're connected. And I invite you to think about this touch as a healing touch. A giving to this earth that is so hot right now. Breathing deeply into our belly and exhaling completely. You might want to set an intention for yourself for this practice today. It could be a word or a prayer or a mantra. If nothing comes to mind, I invite you to bring to your mind's eye a special place in nature that means something important to you. It might be a place in the forest, a place in the desert. It could be on the water, on the beach, anywhere that comes to mind, anywhere that feels of importance. On our next inhale, we'll go ahead and rise back up into that tabletop position. We're gonna tuck those toes, engage that belly. And as we inhale, we'll hover those knees off the floor just slightly. And then we'll push those hips back to the back of the room for our down dog. Bringing those feet really, really wide. Pinky toes off your mat, toes on. Pushing into all 10 fingers, knuckles, pushing into the mat, into the earth. Bending those knees very generously and maybe walking out one side and then the other. Just bringing some blood flow to the backs of those legs. And when that feels nice and warmed up back there, we can bring those feet hip width apart. And we'll inhale, glance at those thumbs, come to the balls of our feet, and exhale, step, hop, or jump to the top of your mat for a forward fold. And we'll be doing these earth breaths today. So really trying to stay connected to the earth at all times. So this forward fold, we'll just hang here actually for a little bit, get some nice traction in the back body. Maybe hold opposite elbows and find a sway from side to side. And then we'll go ahead and steady that sway, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, but keep the crown of our head really pulling toward the earth. Our gaze will be at our knees or the back of our room here. And with our knees bent, let's bend them a little bit more and just allow our torso to really feel supported on those upper legs. Our hands can be flat on the mat. They can be tented up like spidey fingers. But as we inhale, we're going to find this modified halfway lift, doing whatever we need to in our knees to keep our hands connected to the earth. So with an inhale, your knees are going to straighten only as much as you can keep connected with the earth and find this flat back posture still. Our chin is going to be pulled in slightly, so we have a nice line from our tailbone all the way through our crown. We'll inhale here and exhale, bending deeply again into those knees, letting the torso hang and be supported on the upper legs. Hands remain connected to the earth. Allow your inhale to draw up from the earth, finding a flat back. And exhale, surrendering down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, finding that halfway lift. And exhale, letting it all go. On this next inhale, we'll tuck our chin and tuck our tail, rounding our back, keeping our knees bent and moving up through our vertebra one at a time to find our Tadasana, our mountain pose. I always need a second when I arrive in Tadasana to kind of reacclimate myself to the standing posture. In this strong mountain pose, we want to align our feet underneath our hips or just about so, engaging our belly, keeping a softness in our knees. And then we're going to inhale, rotate those shoulders up toward our ears. Palms are going to face the front of the room as our shoulder blades engage on our back. And just maybe closing our eyes here, feeling into the power of this pose. Noticing all four corners of our feet connected to the earth and that solid foundation that allows us to rise up all the way through the legs, through the hips, the pelvic bones, the spine, all the way through our crown. And just like we did when we were seated, with your next inhale, feel the pressure down into the earth and how that allows us to rise up. And as we exhale, everything kind of softens back down. Feel as you inhale the pressure into the earth as you rise up through the spine. And exhale the softness that comes. We'll move through 3 half sun salutations today. We'll inhale those arms high, wide, all the way up to the sky, bringing those hands together. And let's exhale, palms together, bringing them down to your third eye, pausing here as you soften your knees and move through a flat back, and then releasing into your forward fold. We're gonna inhale into that earth breath, knees bent. Inhale, finding that halfway lift, keeping your hands connected. Exhale, surrendering down. Your inhale will pull you through a flat back as your arms come wide, or they can come out in front of you. Knees are soft as your hands come together up in prayer above your head. Your exhale will pull your hands down to that third eye as you allow yourself to move through a flat back and soft knees, finding that forward fold. Inhale, an earth breath, hands and feet connected, back is flat, knees are bent. Exhale, a surrender back down. We'll inhale through a flat back, arms spread wide, knees soft, hands reach all the way to the sky, pulling the hands together. And this time, because I skipped it last time, just let those hands come all the way down in front of your heart, and then relax at your sides. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, bring your hands to your third eye, bend into those knees softly, find a flat back, moving through to find your forward fold. We'll inhale an earth breath, finding a flat back. Exhale, releasing back down. And we're gonna stay here as we step our left foot back to the back of the mat, and we'll bring that left knee to the floor for a low lunge. When we're ready, breathing those arms up, pulling this left hip forward in space and that right hip back, finding a little bit of softness in those shoulders. Breathing deeply here. And maybe on your next inhale, starting at this heart center, feel it being pulled up as maybe you can find a little bit of a back bend. 2 rounds of breath here. And on your next exhale, float those hands down to the inside of your right foot as we spin both feet, bringing the left knee off the mat toward the flat end, or this long end of your mat. And we're going to do Skandasana into this right knee. So with feet pointed out at a 45, we'll bend into this right knee, coming onto the heel of the left. And we're going to tuck this right arm underneath this right knee. And we're going to move through some of those big, deep inhales. We're going to inhale, bring that left hand high. Maybe your gaze follows. And as you exhale, allow it to float back down. Inhale to rise. And exhale, allow it to float back down. One more time. Inhale to rise. And exhale, allow it to float. We'll spin to frame that right foot. We'll kick it up toward the ceiling. Maybe take some ankle circles one way and then the other. And then we'll bring that right foot down to meet the left. Here, it's your choice. You can move through to chaturanga and then upward dog and down dog, or you can skip it. So you can be in child's pose if you wish, or you can flow through, listening to your body if you're wanting more heat, or if you're wishing to cool it down. We'll all meet in down dog. And on our next inhale, we'll glance at those thumbs, come to the balls of our feet, and with the exhale, we'll step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. And I'm gonna turn around the other way so you can see me this way. We'll take an inhale, finding that earth breath, hands and feet connected. Exhale, lower all the way back down, staying here as we step the right foot back now to the back of the mat, lowering that right knee. Setting up for this low lunge. Inhale, sweeping those arms high. Pulling now that right hip forward and that left hip back. The back foot can be tucked or you can have it flat on the floor, whatever feels good in your body. Finding a little bit of softness in your shoulders, knowing that if this is too much, cactus arms are always an option, or prayer or hips. And our next inhale will feel like somebody is pulling from our heart center up and allowing that to help us find a little back bend, being really cautious of how this feels in our neck, coming out of it at any time if it feels like it pinches our low back or our neck or any area in our body. 2 more rounds of breath here. And on your next exhale, float those hands down to the inside of that left foot. Come up off that right knee, and we're gonna spin again to the long side of our mat. And this time moving into Skandasana on the left knee. So bending into that left knee, coming onto the right heel. We'll tuck that left arm underneath that left knee, pulling it back slightly. And with our right hand next to our left hand, we'll inhale to float that arm high. And exhale, allow it to come back down. Following your rhythm, your inhale and exhale. Allowing this movement to bring some coolness. And we'll do one more. Inhale to float up. And exhale to float down. Here we'll go ahead and spin to frame that left foot now, coming onto the ball of the right, stepping that left leg high to the sky, taking some ankle circles one way and then the other way. That hurt my ankle. And letting the left foot meet the right. And here, moving through your flow if you wish, or skipping it. If you're going to move through the flow, you'll shift forward into plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to your back bend. And exhale, finding your down dog. Knowing you can always skip any of those flows. Staying here in dog. Let's all take a lion's breath. That's a big inhale through the nose and then sticking out our tongue to really get rid of any excess heat. Inhaling together. Exhaling, tongue sticking out. One more time, big inhale. And lion's breath. This time we'll inhale, glance at those thumbs, come to the balls of our feet, and with your exhale, hop, step, or jump to the top of the mat for a forward fold. With those earth breaths, knees bent, inhale, find your modified halfway lift. Exhale, surrender back down. And inhale, we'll move through a flat back, arms wide or to the front, knees soft, hands all the way to the sky as they come together. And exhale, pull them down in front of your heart center. And we'll move through our next sequence. Inhale, root through your feet to rise high. Exhale, bring those hands together at your third eye. Move through a flat back and soft knees, finding your forward fold. Inhale, an earth breath, hands and feet connected. Exhale, stay here. Move that left foot to the back of the mat. Spin it so it is parallel with the short end of your mat. Warrior 2 feet. Right heel bisecting left arch. And when you're ready, inhale your arms into a parallel position with the earth. Bending deeply into this right knee. pushing firmly into the pinky edge of that left foot. Making sure that we can see the front toes, big toe and maybe second toe, keeping our knee in a nice alignment. And then we're just going to settle here for a couple rounds of breath, really feeling the stability of the earth below us, acknowledging that our torso is firmly established in the present moment, and our left hand is connected to the past. And looking out over those right fingers represents our future. And taking a moment here to again come back to that beautiful place in nature that you thought of earlier. And seeing that place in the future as a healthy and thriving place on earth. And what might we have to do in order to make sure that that place is protected? Gazing out over those front fingers. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. On your next inhale, shift your front arm forward as you flip your palm to the sky. And exhale, tip this back into a reverse warrior. Bending deeply into that right leg, feeling the expansiveness on your right ribs, left hand grazing the left leg. We're going to move through a little bit of a flow here. This will be our exhale position. On your next inhale, we'll move back into a warrior two. Our exhale will bring us in to a side angle. We'll stay here for just a second, a couple rounds of breath before flowing through those three postures. Now opening up those left ribs, feeling the pressure from that pinky edge toe all the way through those left fingers, finding a place for your head that feels good on your neck. On your next inhale, we'll windmill back up into warrior two. Exhale, tip back to reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, find your side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. And we'll do that all one more time. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, back to warrior two. And as we exhale, we'll frame that right foot, spin onto the ball of our left. Kick this right leg high to the sky. And this time we're gonna open up that hip so the right heel falls behind us. Trying to keep those shoulders parallel to the earth. One big inhale here. And as you exhale, square those hips to the mat. Bring that right foot down. And you can move through your chaturanga. You can skip it. You can come into child's pose for just a second before we all meet in down dog. If you went through your flow, we'll stay there in down dog. If you're in child's pose, like me, you'll come up and find your down dog. We're going to take an inhale and glance at those thumbs, come to the balls of our feet, and exhale, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Hands and feet connected to the earth. Inhale, find that modified halfway lift. Exhale, let it all go. Staying here, we're going to bring now that right foot to the back of the mat, paralleling it into our warrior two position. When you're ready, we'll inhale to windmill those arms up. Finding our warrior two on the opposite side. Checking in with all of our points of alignment. Can we see that left big toe? Our left big toe. Can we push into the pinky edge of our right foot? Maybe even pulling the mat energetically together with our feet and seeing how that might engage the inner thighs and allowing our torso to feel a lightness up out of our pelvic bowl. Breathing deeply, looking out over those left fingers. Acknowledging our past and where we've been. Being present for the here and now. And preparing for the future. Knowing or wanting to know what it might look like and how we might need to change things or how to do things in order to get there. One more big inhale here and exhale. With your inhale, left hands come forward. Exhale, flip that left palm and tip it toward the sky as the right hand comes to the back of that right leg. Breathing into those left side ribs. Noticing if we come out of that knee, that left knee, and knowing that we can come out of it too anytime it feels like we just need a little break. One more big inhale here. Big exhale. With an inhale, we'll pull those arms parallel, bring the left forearm to the left leg, swing the right arm up over our ears, finding this side angle pose. Dropping these hips deeply toward the earth. Staying here for just a round or two. And then we'll prepare to move through our flow here. So on our next inhale, we'll sweep those arms parallel, keeping the bend in that left knee. Exhale will bring us into this reverse warrior. Our inhale will bring us back to warrior two. Our exhale finds our side angle. Moving at your flow, at your pace. Always knowing that inhale brings you back to the warrior two. Two more full flows here. Coming out of that bend in that left knee at any time that you feel needed. And the next time you come back to that warrior two position, pause here. Deep inhale. And as you exhale, windmill those arms to frame that left foot. Come to the ball of the right. Kick that left foot up to the sky. Allow that left heel to fall behind your body, opening the hips, keeping the shoulders parallel to the earth as much as possible. We'll go ahead and square our hips toward the mat. Lower that left foot to meet the right. Move through a vinyasa, chaturanga. If you wish, you can come down instead to a child's pose, listening to what your practice is needing from you today. We'll all meet back in down dog. So if you're here with me in child's pose, let's rise back up, finding our down dog. We'll inhale to glance at our thumbs, come to the balls of our feet, and exhale, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Knees deeply bent, hands connected to the earth. We'll inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, surrender back down. Inhale, tucking our tail and tucking our chin. We'll move through our spine to find our Tadasana. Finding our nice sweet alignment in our Tadasana with feet under our hips, shoulders over those hip bones. Let's just close our eyes for a second and check in with our body. Ask ourselves, how are we feeling? Am I needing more heat right now? Am I needing less heat? Am I feeling connected to the earth? And we'll move through our last standing flow. We're going to inhale, root through your feet to rise your hands all the way to the sky. Exhale, bring them in front of your third eye as you start to hinge forward with the flat back and soft knees, finding that forward fold. Going through a round of earth breath, inhale to draw up from the earth. And exhale to give back. Staying here, we're going to step that left foot back to the back of the mat, setting up for warrior one. So heel to heel alignment is traditional, but if that doesn't feel good in your body, because our hips are wider than that, right? So bringing your left foot to the left and the right foot to the right is always a really good option. And if that's still not in the cards, this high lunge is just as effective. So choose the variation that works for your body. We'll bend into that right knee and come up with our hands toward the sky. If you're in a warrior one position, we're trying to pull this left hip forward and that right hip back. Same with a high lunge. And we're just going to breathe deeply here for a second. Again, shining that chest up, finding a little softness in those shoulders. Maybe taking your gaze up just a little bit. And on your next exhale, we'll float those hands down along our sides to allow your hands to grasp behind you. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, you can just bring your arms with your fingers energetically pulling toward the earth. If your hands are interlaced, we're rolling those shoulders onto our back, shining our heart forward and up. Gaze might come up, inhaling deeply here, and exhaling, folding to the inside of that right knee for our humble warrior. Knuckles are pulling toward the sky as the crown of our head is pulling toward the earth. Showing reverence to this home that we all have, that we all share. Being humble in her presence. One more big inhale here. And exhale, we'll bring those knuckles toward the earth as we bring our torso back up. Release the hands and let them float all the way to the sky one more time. We're going to bring those hands together in front of our heart, and we're just going to step that left foot forward to meet the right. We're going to move through a tree pose here. So with our right leg as still as the foundation, we'll pick our tree variation, kickstand. We could do calf, or we could do the inside of that inner right thigh. Whatever variation works for you today, knowing that every day is different, go ahead and choose that posture. Your hands can be at prayer, at hips, or you could grow those branches nice and wide, feeling the breeze cooling us down, breathing deeply, finding a trishti, a gazing point in front of you that is unmoving, bringing in your right hip underneath your body, breathing deeply here. You can stay here if you're wishing to take up more space. We're going to bring this left knee up toward our armpit, and with our yogi fingers, our yogi toe lock, pointer and big middle finger wrap around to meet the thumb. And we'll inhale here and exhale, extend this left leg out to the side. Right arm can stay at your hip. It can spread out wide. We'll stay here for 2 rounds of breath. Knowing that this knee does not need to be straight. Any variation, you are getting this challenging balancing work. One more big inhale. And as you exhale, knee bends in toward the armpit as you slowly lower that foot back down. And maybe give that right leg, that right hip, a little bit of love. And we're gonna move through that same sequence on the other side. So rooting down through those feet. Inhale to rise high. Hands come together, and exhale, bring them down to your third eye as you hinge forward through a flat back and soft knees, finding that forward fold. We'll inhale, earth breath, hands and feet connected. Flat back, knees bent. Exhale, surrender back down. Staying here, we're gonna step that right foot back to the back of the mat, setting up for warrior one on the other side, knowing that that left foot can come left and right in order to have a stronger, wider base. Or if warrior one's not in your practice, a high lunge is a wonderful option. When you're ready and the left knee is bent, we're going to rise up, bringing those hands above our heads. Breathing deeply here, squaring our hips as much as we can, pushing into the pinky edge of that right foot. If you're in warrior one, pulling your belly button in toward your spine, shining up and out through your heart space, maybe taking your head back just a little bit. And on your exhale, float those arms behind you, taking a clasp behind your back. Knuckles pointing down toward that right heel. Again, if this grasp is not in your practice, hands can just be shooting down behind you. You'll receive the same benefits. So inhale, shining and filling up your heart. Head may go back, chin may come up to the sky just a little bit. And as you exhale, we'll hinge forward to the inside of that left knee now. Knuckles shining up toward the sky. Crown of head is heavy toward the earth. Humble warrior. A posture of deep respect. Acknowledging all the work that our earth does for us. And accepting the responsibility that we need to care for her. One more big, deep inhale. And as you exhale, your knuckles come back up toward the sky as your torso rises, keeping the bend in that left knee. Release the grasp and just feel the floating of your arms as they come up toward the sky. We're going to bring those hands together in front of our heart in prayer and step the right foot to meet the left. And we'll move through tree on the opposite side now. So the foundation will be in our left foot, bringing or choosing our tree variation of kickstand, calf, or inner thigh, making sure that our pressure is never, or that we steer clear of our inner left knee here. So whatever posture you've chosen, giving yourself complete permission and grace that if it's different than on the other side, that's okay. Our bodies do different loads of work on different sides, therefore our balance is always different. But breathing into this posture with your arms at heart center or up stretched out, or maybe at your hips, finding that trishti, that unmoving spot that can help you keep your balance. Breathing deeply here, feeling the roots digging down through the earth. And know that if you have a sway, that's okay. If you fall out of your posture, that's okay. Just come back, grace yourself, bless yourself, and join again. You can stay here, or if you're wanting to take up a little more space, bringing our hands to our hips, bringing this right foot in toward our groin so that we can bring our fingers around that big toe. Inhaling deeply here, and then exhaling, extending to whatever variation works for you on your right. My right is definitely not as flexible as my left, so my right knee is much more bent on this side. And that's okay. Big, deep inhales, complete exhales. We'll be here for 2 more rounds of breath. And as you exhale, go ahead and softly bring that knee back to the earth. Ground out, shake out that left hip, give it a little bit of love and gratitude. It worked hard for you. And then we're going to meet back in Tadasana, and we'll get ready for our floor sequence here. So we'll inhale, root down through those feet all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to third eye, bend through your soft knees and a flat back, finding your forward fold. Hands connected to the earth, knees bent. Inhale, pull up through the earth, finding a flat back. Exhale, giving back to her. And from here, we're gonna walk our feet out to the sides, heels in, toes out, and we're going to come into a malasana or a yogi squat. So bringing our hips down toward the earth, our arms are going to nestle in on the inside of these thighs. Our thighs are pushing in as our elbows are pushing out, creating a little dynamic resistance, finding a nice flat back. And then we want to engage a little bit in the pelvic floor here. Oftentimes we can just sit in this like a hammock, but I want you to push into your feet and find a little bit of a lift out of this posture. So it's not just a sitting in a hammock type, but you're really engaging those feet, finding a lift up in through that pelvic floor, knowing that this is a little bit more challenging than if we were just relaxing in this posture. So we have one more round of breath. And exhale, we'll bring those hands to the floor, bring our hips back up toward the sky as we parallel those feet one more time. And then we're just going to step our feet back to the back of the mat, finding our down dog, and we'll move through pigeon. And if pigeon is not in your practice, if that posture doesn't work for your body, coming down onto your back for a figure four is a really wonderful option, and you get all the same benefits. But if you're here with me in pigeon, we'll inhale that right heel high. Exhale, bring that knee in toward the back of your right wrist as you find yourself in a plank. And then we'll drop that right shin across the mat and walk the left foot back to the back of the mat. Checking to make sure that that right foot is coming straight out of that left hip. And then we will shine that heart forward. And when we're ready, we'll exhale and walk our hands down. If we find that we have any pinching in our knee, we can always prop up that right hip. But wherever you can stay completely straight up, and that is a great option. You can come down as far as your body will allow. You could rest your head on a block or your hands. We'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. And on your next exhale, we'll slowly walk our hands back toward our torso as our head comes up. And we'll tuck those left toes as we wiggle the right leg out from underneath us and all the way back up to the sky. And we can just take some hip circles one direction and then the other. And if you're looking for a little more heat, straighten that right leg, tuck the right big toe behind the Achilles of your left as you shift into a plank. Or you can skip all of this. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, untuck your feet, finding your upward facing dog. And exhale, pushing back into down dog or skipping it all together. And then we'll move through pigeon on the other side. So we'll inhale that left leg high. Exhale, shift forward into plank as your left knee comes behind your left wrist, and place the left shin along the mat. Walking that right foot now back in space, checking to make sure it's not sickling one way or the other. Propping up this left hip at any place along this area where it's not meeting the mat. If you feel any pinching in your knee or your back. Hands into the earth, we'll inhale, finding a nice full breath, and exhale to lower down to whatever degree feels good for you. And then we'll be here for 3 to 5 rounds of breath, depending on the lengths of your inhales and exhales. Coming back to your intention, coming back to your breath, maybe coming back to that special place in nature.
Noticing where we are connected with the floor beneath us, that is connected to the foundation of the building that you're in, that is connected to the earth that is supporting all of it. Feeling that reciprocity, that give and take. One more big inhale. And as you exhale, we'll walk those hands back toward our torso, bringing our head up, tucking the toes of our right foot and wiggling that left leg out from underneath us as we raise it up toward the sky and maybe take some hip circles one direction and then the other. And again, if you're looking for more heat, you can bring the left big toe behind the Achilles and move through your chaturanga, or you could come down into child's pose. Whatever option works best for you, we're all gonna meet here in child's pose. On our next inhale, we're all gonna walk our hands back up, bringing our sits bones to the floor. And we're gonna bring our heels or our soles of feet in together for Baddha Konasana. And before we forward fold into this posture, we're going to take a cooling breath called Satali. There's two ways to do this breath. For those people that can curl their tongue, it's either you can or you can't. It's in your genetic makeup. So if you can curl your tongue, you'll do so and let it rest right behind your lower lip. So, actually, I'm sorry, it'll be sticking almost right outside your lip. So, like this. If that's not in your genetic makeup, no big deal. All you're going to do is let your tongue lay against the bottom of your or behind your bottom lip, right above your teeth, right, resting on your lower teeth. And you're going to just make a little O with your mouth, and you'll breathe in the same way. So it's going to look like this. Okay, so it's an inhale through the mouth and an exhale out the nose. So sitting as comfortably as you can in Baddha Konasana, your feet, and if this isn't comfortable for you, just have your legs straight out. You can have your knees bent. The goal is to be relaxed. So whatever relaxed looks like for you, we'll create that shape in our mouth. I invite you to close your eyes, and we will breathe in this manner for about 10 rounds of breath. So let's just all take a collective inhale and exhale together. Inhaling in and out the nose. And then creating the shape with our mouth, we'll begin the Satali breath. It's an inhale through the mouth to cool the air. A closing of the lips and a slow exhale out the nose. Allowing everything to slow down and to cool down. We have about 3 more rounds of breath.
And wherever you are, allow your next inhale and exhale to be your last Satali breath. And just return to a nice natural breath in and out of the nose. On your next inhale, find a nice long spine. And if you were out of Baddha Konasana, come back into it now, knowing that your heels can be as far away from your groin or as close as your groin as you want, as it feels good in your body. Knowing you can also always prop up underneath your knees. We'll inhale to get tall here. And we'll exhale to hinge forward using a flat back, finding that edge where we can no longer hinge without folding and rounding, staying there for just around a breath. And then on your next exhale, allow it to pull you down toward the earth as you walk your hands maybe out in front of you a little bit more. If you have a block, you can place it on your feet and allow your forehead to rest. You can bring your heels to your feet, your elbows to your feet and the hands up toward your forehead to allow yourself to rest. Or if it feels really good to just allow the gravity to pull you down, that works too. And we'll be here for about 3 rounds of breath. Noticing again where we feel connected to the earth. Bringing to our mind's eye that special place in nature. On your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back toward your torso, keeping your chin in toward your chest, moving very slowly and with intention. Allowing your head to be the last to rise. And once you do, if you can keep your eyes closed or soft, just allow yourself a moment to feel into the experience. And as we begin to transition to our backs, we'll blink our eyes open if they were closed. Allow our hands to assist our knees to an upright position with our feet flat on the floor. And we're going to hold on to the backs of those thighs as we lower down through our spine, finding our back to the mat and the back of our head. We're going to bring both knees into our chest, giving them a little squeeze, and then releasing them just a little bit and taking some little tiny circles, massaging that sacrum, and then going the other way. And then we'll keep the right knee in toward our chest as we let that left leg go long, pulling that right knee in toward our right armpit. Inhaling deeply here, feeling a nice stretch along the front left leg here. And with your exhale, we'll go ahead and let the right knee come across our body for an easy supine twist. Adjusting your shoulder blades, adjusting your hips however needed. Maybe bringing your arms out at a T to the right and left. If it feels okay on your neck, you can look out over that right hand. And just breathing deeply, allowing each exhale to soften and release. On your next exhale, go ahead and bring that right knee back through center. Give it one more squeeze into your chest and then let it lay long. And we'll bring the left leg now in. So bringing that left leg in toward your chest, pulling that knee in toward your left armpit. Breathing deeply here. And as you exhale, allowing that left
your left knee to cross over your body. That left leg doesn't have to meet the floor at all. It can just hang in space, or you can prop blocks or a bolster underneath it. Adjusting your shoulder blades so they feel nice and secure on the mat, and then bringing your arms out at a T. If it feels good, you can look out over that left hand. Excuse me. Breathing deeply. And on your next exhale, we'll bring that left knee back through center. Pulling that left knee into your chest one more time. And then we'll bring that right knee in toward our chest as well for one more nice big hug in toward our system, bringing our forehead up into our knees, squeezing deeply, curling, curling, curling. And on an exhale, allow your body to lay flat along the floor, preparing for Shavasana. If you are wishing for a different posture, now is a really good time to do that. If you're ready for Shavasana, you can put on your socks or find a blanket. Allow yourself to take up as much space as you want. Not what you need, but what you want. Take up a lot of space. Allow your feet to open to the right and left. Palms can be facing the ceiling, or they can be facing the floor. And we'll let go of any ujjayi breathing or any other shaping of the breath. And I don't have my singing bowls today for this Shavasana, but I would like to invite a little guided Shavasana, a little imagery before allowing a little bit of silence to end our practice. So as you allow each exhale to drop you deeper into this moment, I'd like you to bring to your mind's eye one more time that space in nature that is of significance to you. I'd like you to imagine your body laying in this area, in this beautiful space. And notice where your connection to the earth is in this space. And notice that as you breathe, the space beneath you is breathing also. As you inhale, the earth below you inhales. And as you exhale, the earth too exhales. And the relationship between you and this space, between you and the earth, is so intimate and so filled with love that it's hard to see a separation. Feel that relationship in your skin. Feel that relationship in your heartbeat. Feel that relationship in your whole being. And as you continue to breathe together, feel in your whole system that you care for this earth and this earth cares for you. And just continue to breathe with her, with this earth. Letting her know that you will take care of her. And she lets you know that she will take care of you as well. Allow yourself to relax completely. Letting go of the imagery if you choose, or staying with it if it feels nourishing. And we'll be here for a couple more minutes in silence. Know that you can stay here for as long as you'd like. But if you're ready to wrap up your practice, take a deeper breath into your system. Bring your awareness back to your body, back to your mat, back to this space that you are in. Finding some small movement in your fingers, in your feet, in your hands. Maybe taking a long stretch, feet below your body and your arms above your head. Waking up your body gently, keeping your eyes soft or closed. We'll make our way to an easy seat. You can do this by rolling to the side, rolling along your spine. Just knowing that there's no rush. When you make your way back to a seated position, just find a seat that feels relaxing. Allow your hands to be wherever they wish to be. And before we close this practice, I'd like to invite you to chant the sound of Om, the word that unites us all, not only humans united together, but the whole planet. And if you just want to receive the vibration, that's okay too. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. And we'll inhale for Om.
dark in me sees and honors the dark in each of you as equally as it sees and honors the light in each of you. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste.